What is going on, sports card fiends? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we're here with a video on what the new sales of the Cristiano Ronaldo PSA 10 and the Fleer MJ10 mean for the hobby, mean for the soccer community more so specifically, because I like to focus on soccer, but it's very general in what this means for the sports cards as well. So if you haven't noticed yet and you have been off social medias, I'm envious of you. I'm wishing that I could detach every now and then from the socials because it's a bit much. But yesterday and the last couple days we've had some big sales. Basically, a lot of the GOATs in sports cards have been going up just at astronomical rates. The MJ Fleer PSA 10 sold for a little under 800k, almost doubling since its last sale, and a Ronaldo Mega Cracks PSA 10 sold for a little over 200k, which is about 3 to 4 times more than it was like a month or two ago. I don't know. It's crazy. I'm going to try to make sense of it, but obviously whenever you hear that type of stuff, it's crazy. So you don't know what to think. Now, ultimately, I think we're here because just a lot of uncertainty in the market for tons of different reasons. Not a lot of good places to park your money. You got COVID, you got people sitting at home doing nothing. You got, rich people looking to put money in different places that isn't the norm. And I think this is what you end up with. This is just a culmination of everything. It won't always be here. So I do preface that by saying while everything's booming now and everything's looking good, some things long term will go up, of course. A lot of things won't. So just before you get into sports cards, before you get spending all your money, know that it's very important. So don't act like all of this is forever. It's all, fairy dust and rainbows, and it's not. It's not. It's a real world. Some people are going to lose, some people are going to win. That's how it goes. Ultimately, whenever you compare sports cards to coins, art, other collectibles that are, of true scale, cards aren't bigger than them or even really close. Cards are not worldwide as much, but I think over time there's potential for that more and more with, just technology and social media and spreading certain cultural aspects. I think that just happens. But right now, it's pretty small. So personally, I'm not that surprised when you see these big cards go up like that, because for someone that has a ton of money, if you see something like a Ronaldo pop 38 PSA 10 rookie and it's 200k, and when we talk of hundreds of thousands, some people are just on a different plane to where that doesn't seem like it's much. So if you're talking 50k, 100k, 200k, it doesn't matter. That's all pennies to whoever's buying this, because I can tell you it's not your everyday person that just saved up their savings for the last 10 years and they're like, well, what do? I put in a Ronaldo PSA 10 Mega Cracks after it's 50x. That doesn't make any sense. To go on over to Card Ladder for a second, just to show what's been going on, this is the PSA 10 Mega Cracks Ronaldo. If you look, pop 38, that's why this one's so crazy to me, and it's why I'm not really shocked. It's pop 38, that's insane. As you can see, the market cap here is not even 2 mil. And if you look like Trae Young base Prism, it's more than that, it's way more than that. So, say what you want and say if it's crazy, whatever, but I'm just saying, I don't think it's that crazy. Now, if we look at the old prices, you would tell me it's crazy, but if you did that with any cards, you'd say the same thing. So this was actually more than 2K. It was about 4K a couple years ago and has been floating between 4 to 2K for a while, and then within the last year and a half has just blown up because a lot of people are getting into, GOATs and making sure that they have great players in their collection, so this just takes off. And when you have that low a pop, there's not much you can do. There's not enough supply there to get that to retrace. So it just seems kind of where we're at. And with the MJ Fleer, a lot of the same thing has happened. I didn't have it in the other tab, but Fleer PSA 10, I can look it up real quick. This one too, just absolutely nuts. There we go. So go down here. Well, first, pop 316, so almost 10 times the Ronaldo. Granted, basketball market's bigger, sure, but worldwide, whenever you compare like the worldwide popularity of these two, Ronaldo kills MJ, and MJ stands, I'm sure wouldn't want to hear that, but that's just how it is. So, when you consider that this card is 4 times more than a card that has 10 times less than it. And it is strange, but that's just the card market. That's how it works. That's why whenever people compare U.S. men's national team players to like other European soccer players, I'm like, it doesn't even make sense. The demand isn't the same. Same with the MJ compared to Ronaldo. There's a lot more people that want the MJ Fleer. I get that. I'm just comparing, so don't hate me. It's fine. But I mean, just how are we going to prepare ourselves for that? I mean, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing goats just absolutely take off. So how can you kind of fit into the mix? Because obviously you and me, I mean, we're not getting those cards. We can get cards. We can get good cards. I mean, we can get prospects. We can do certain things, but we probably can't do that. So what do we do? To start, the first thing is, I mean, what we should all be doing is trying to collect goats. If you want to even start on that path, you have to start by getting truly, ultimately just top tier desirable guys. So while we can't get those cards, you want those types of guys. Obviously, that's what we're looking for. So how can you do that? Well, you can go with alternative cards of different forms. With the Ronaldo example, he has a sticker as well that's a rookie. That one, I mean, is extremely expensive as well, so not really a great example, but you could go with a 2004 Euro sticker or 2008 World Cup sticker. Both are incredibly affordable, like $50 maybe. You can get them less if you actually try and, you know, hunt and snipe and do this and that, but it's absurd. Like, there are other alternatives that people aren't caring as much about, and it's a possibility if you want to get in your little bit of money without having to, you know, buy a $200,000 card. So personally, that's what I've been doing. I've been buying a lot of Messi rookies, some of the mega cracks, like the blue mega crack. I go for that one. I like that one a lot, compared to his true mega crack rookie that everyone freaks out about. I like it, I get it, but I think the other mega cracks have some value, and I got a good bit of the Mundi Chromo ones because I think those are really nice as well. So there are alternative ways to go ahead and get that card as well, or a card like that. Not the same thing, of course, but you can be in that ballpark without, again, having to spend the big money. Now, from there, the next big thing, you could prospect. You could buy young guys that you think could be the next big thing, and maybe they will be. Maybe they will. Probably not. Probably won't be. So what I would say is, you know, buy guys that you feel confident in and play the market. Ups and downs, ebbs and flows. You know, if you got a good return on a card, even if you like the player, take the return, find some other players you like that are underrated, and just keep it going. You don't want to buy 5-10 rookies, buy a lot of them, sit on them for 5 years, see if you got any of the really good guys, and then sell. That's not a good approach. You want to constantly be in the buying and selling market and constantly adjusting what you have relative to the market, because there's always things to be done, moves to be made. Trust me, there's just enough going on to where you can find value if you want. And ultimately, that's kind of the last part of this, is that you have to research inefficiencies. When the, you know, upper bounds of this market are being taken so high so quick, there are going to be things behind it that naturally just lag behind, like the Euro and World Cup stickers and other things of that sort. So when those things don't proportionally, or at least, you know, tick up a little bit, if they're not showing signs of life, and they should, that's when you hop in. You have to, you know, be on top of your game, understand what's going on. And if you see an inefficiency, you know, don't question it. Just, I mean, you know, you can question it a little bit. You should obviously feel good about it, but, you know, don't question it too much. Don't be like, you know, is the market underrating it for a reason? Like, typically, everything just doesn't move in lockstep. So if you can find that, that's a good spot to be. The last part of this is to minimize your risk in the hobby. I can't say it enough. You know, like I said before, if you just buy a lot of young guys, sit on them for 5-10 years, however long, and then come back and say, hey, did I win? Did I hit the lottery? Do I have the cards? You probably don't. You probably lost. So you can't approach the hobby or anything in that way. You have to try to negate your risk. And you can do that by buying goats, because if you buy a goat player, a goat card, whatever you're buying, essentially, as long as it's of enough value and people are invested into it, both emotionally and financially enough, they're not going to be likely to sell it upon a little dip. While with people that are, you know, prospecting basketball youngsters, everyone's going to sell the Optic or Prism as soon as they see that downturn start to happen. So then it's just the floor is taken out from you. They just dip and dip and dip, and who knows where it ends or if it ends. It can just dip to oblivion, and that's That's something that happens. But with goats, you're just not going to have that. And next, you should really just take profits on young guys. Like I was saying before, you're not going to win if you just sit on them. You got to take profits. You're going to lose some battles, so you have to proportionally, try to negate that by winning some other battles and taking the profits while you can. Don't, your profits that are imaginary that you haven't sold, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does a bit, but I mean, you don't have the money. So you didn't make that money yet. Maybe you will, but you have to sell. That's the point. You should also diversify. As much as I love soccer and as big as I am on soccer cards, its potential here, its potential worldwide, just the entire thing of it. I don't only collect soccer. I have, comics, Pokemon, other card games, basketball. I have very little basketball, but some basketball. A good bit of baseball. I like baseball. Some football. I like, I like a lot of different things. You might not like the same things as me. You might like different things, but find things that you like that you can actually, have some money into that aren't these. So you're not living and dying based off what some messy rookies do. This whole video started with me kind of talking about how the market moves in lockstep. The goats drive the rest of this. So why would you want to constantly have the lower version and chasing the higher version, which is always just outpacing you a little bit? As much as you can flip back here, you can only flip a little bit. You really have to have great pieces of your collection, of your investment, whatever you think of cards as, you have to have great cards. Because if you're only prospecting, if you're only buying numbered, young guys that might be able to blow up, that's just not the way to play this game. It's a really risky game, and at the end of the day, risk is one of the, biggest factors in anything. Most people don't think about it with cards right now because everything's going to the moon, everything's up, but whenever that turn happens and whatever, form it happens in, you gotta be prepared and you gotta have some sort of risk evaluation already done. Because if not, you're just gonna get clobbered. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is what I'm thinking of the soccer market mostly right now, but kind of all markets I'm really high on. The only thing I don't really like personally is like modern basketball and maybe even football to a small extent, but for the most part, I am all about cards right now. I'm having a great time, and this has really kind of solidified some of the, real conclusions I've made in my head that I think soccer is just going to keep on rolling, and I think U.S. men's national team's doing good, and that'll help push it further. And man, I just can't wait. Soccer's looking good, market's looking good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Anything you want to tell me, anything about goats, young guys, whatever your outlook on the market is, let me know down below. And on top of that, if you want to see more videos like this as soon as I go live, make sure to subscribe. And with that said, hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and peace.